So in the last class we had seen the eigenvalue equation. In fact, as you know, eigenvalue equation is an operator that is acting on a function. We will get back the same function multiplied with a constant. As we had seen here, a hat is an operator acting on the function, and then we get the same function back, fx, which was multiplied by a constant c. Okay, and then this fx is what is called eigenfunction, and this c, constant c, is what is called eigenvalue. So when you consider a time independent Schrodinger wave equation in the form h psi equal to e psi, in fact, as we have discussed in the last class of the eigenfunction, by taking Schrodinger wave equation as an example, here you can see that an operator is acting on the function. We are getting the same function back by multiplied with a constant e. Okay, so it is an eigenvalue equation. This equation is an eigenvalue equation because it satisfies the eigenvalue equation. The psi functions which are acceptable solutions of the equation are eigenfunctions, and corresponding e, energy values, are eigenvalues of the Hamiltonian operator. Because as you know, H is a Hamiltonian operator, or it is an energy operator, or it contains kinetic energy and potential energy terms. So by solving the wave operator, H operator, energy operator on the wave function, we get the total energy of the system, because kinetic potential energy terms is here. So we should get the total energy of the system. Okay, so in the above equation we cannot write H operator equal to E. So as in the normal mathematics, on both sides the same value or number comes, we may be able to cancel it out. Okay, but in case of operator algebra, we cannot cancel if same functions comes after the operator. Okay, so when you look at the left hand side, H operator is acting on the wave function. So on the right hand side, a constant multiplied by a, or wave function multiplied by a energy term, by the energy term, or a constant. Okay, so H operator has any meaning if it acts on the function. If it stands alone, it doesn't have any meaning. So that is the reason why H operator cannot be equal to E, energy. Okay, so that is why H operator is an operator and E is a number, and the two cannot be equated. Okay, alright. Now we are coming to the acceptable solutions of psi. So we have already mentioned there should be certain conditions should be satisfied for the psi to be considered as the wave function of an electron. Okay, so we have to start with the Schrodinger wave equation, H psi equal to E psi, where psi is the wave function. And it is important to realize that in each case there can be many solutions of psi satisfying the Schrodinger equation, but only those wave functions which satisfy certain conditions are acceptable. Okay, and then these are eigenfunctions of the system, while the energies actually we have to find out the energy of a system where the electron confined. Okay, so we are going to talk about the energy of the electron that is confined around the nucleus. Okay, and while the energies E corresponding to them are called eigenvalues of the energy operator. Okay, now we are coming to the conditions to be imposed for the psi to be an acceptable wave function. All the functions cannot be considered as the acceptable wave function. It should obey a certain set of conditions for being an acceptable wave function. A wave function psi must meet the following conditions to be acceptable for all values of the coordinates. So as we have already mentioned that electrons, when we talk about electrons, we are talking only about the probability of finding the electron around a three-dimensional space around the nucleus. Okay, so that three-dimensional space is the coordinate x, y, and z coordinates. That is the three-dimension. It creates the three dimension. Okay, so the first condition is psi must be single valued. So it means that psi has one and only one value at each point of the space, because the probability of finding a particle there must have only one value. Okay, so for example, when you talk about an electron here and a nucleus here and electron here, and the meeting the electron at this point, it definitely have a single value only. Okay, and if you want to meet the electron over here, it should be at this point should have only single value. Okay, and then second point, psi must be finite. That means psi cannot be finite at any point, infinite at any point, for then the particle would be fixed exactly at that point, which would be inconsistent with its wave properties. Okay, so psi must be finite. So we are talking about a time independent Schrodinger equation. So it is, we are considering only the standing wave. So the value of psi cannot be infinite, it should be finite to any point. Then only the particle can be exactly find it around the nucleus. Okay, and psi must be continuous. That means psi makes no sudden jumps in its values. Psi has different values as we have already mentioned, that psi is just an amplitude function. So when we talk about a Schrodinger equation, we have taken the second derivative. So when you take the first derivative of the Schrodinger equation, the psi is not continuous. Okay, so psi is not continuous or discontinuous. There is probability of meeting the electron is very less. Okay, so if that is the case, psi must be continuous. Okay, psi must be quadratically integrable. That means quadratically integrable means there is a term which indicates the probability of meeting the electron around the three-dimensional space. Okay, so that is represented by integral psi star d tau. Okay, so for example, as you know, psi star, if you put star like this somewhere, it is normally known or considered as the complex conjugate. For example, when you consider psi is a complex function and then psi star is the complex conjugate of the complex function. Okay, so when you put an integral d tau, then d tau is a finite real number. D tau, as you know, is a dx dy dz. The three represents the three coordinates, and this integral psi star psi d tau or integral psi star d tau or integral psi square d tau indicates the probability of meeting the electron in the three-dimensional space. Then it will be finite and it will be a real number. Okay, and a function obeying the above conditions is said to be a well-behaved function. Okay, so if the psi is not a well-behaving function, or we cannot consider that as a wave function of the electron. So for that there should be a certain condition should be imposed to make the wave function a well-behaved function. Okay, so these are the four different conditions. So psi must be single valued, psi must be finite, psi must be continuous, and psi must be quadratically integrable. Now let us discuss what are the significance of psi. It was Max Born's interpretation. What is the significance of psi? So several things are keep repeating because all different aspects we are discussing. The wave function psi is merely an amplitude function and by itself has no physical significance. Just an amplitude has no physical significance. For a particle free to move in the three dimension, it depends on the coordinates of the particle. Okay, so of course there is a three-dimensional space where the electron moves around the nucleus. The moving particle, the three-dimensional space is very important. Okay, so according to Max Born, the actual significance of psi lies in the fact that psi square, or if we take the complex conjugate of psi, where psi star is a complex conjugate of psi when psi is a complex. Okay, so as we have already mentioned in this equation, that is integral psi star psi or integral psi star or integral psi square has any meaning because psi is just an amplitude function, but when you write psi square or when you write psi star, so this indicates that the probability of the particle to exist within the small volume of space. Okay, so when you just see psi, just mean that it is the wave function just indicating the amplitude of the wave. Okay, so when you see psi square, or when you write psi square, or when you write psi star, or psi star psi, that indicates that the probability of meeting the electron or existing the electron in the three-dimensional space. Okay, so in other words, psi is an acceptable wave function. The probability of finding the particle within the infinitesimally small element. Infinitesimally small element, volume element means very small tiny volume is what is called infinitesimal volume element, because as you know, the size of the electron is very less, so the probability of meeting the electron will be at a very small space. Okay, so that is why it is represented d tau. D tau means dx, dy and dz. Okay, so three coordinates are included, and for this the term d tau had been given. Is proportional to psi star d tau is therefore called a probability amplitude. Okay, so psi star or psi square or psi star psi is what is called the probability amplitude, or we call as probability function. Okay, and the wave function psi is therefore called a probability amplitude. Okay, and then psi square psi star is called a probability density. Psi square psi star is what is called a probability density. That means electron density is what it means, in the sense that it yields a probability when multiplied by the volume of a region. Okay, so we have to definitely say the volume of the region, then only we can say that the point where the electron exists. The wave function for an electron in an atom is found by solving the Schrodinger equation. Keep repeating this sentence. And only those wave functions which satisfy the conditions of being finite, single valued and continuous are acceptable. This is also a well behaved wave function. It repeats. And these acceptable values of psi are called eigenfunctions, while the energies E corresponding to these eigenfunctions are called eigenvalues. In short, when the equation is solved for an electron in an atom, it is found that acceptable solutions can be obtained only for certain energies. Okay, so there should be certain energies are there, and these are only acceptable energies. Okay, so we will be discussing it later, then you will understand it more clearly. It is the reason why the energies of an electron is said to be quantized or confined to certain discrete values. As you know, electrons are existing in different orbitals. This is the different orbitals means different energies. That means the energy levels are discrete, separated. Okay, so when you talk about the tiny particles like electrons, okay, so it is mainly because of the electron is confined to the nucleus, okay, at particular distance. Okay, so that is the reason. And now let us discuss the normalization of the wave function. Okay, so if a wave function is not normalized, we have to make it normalized, then only it can be acceptable. Okay, according to Born's interpretation, if psi is an acceptable wave function, the probability of finding an electron within the infinitesimal volume dx, dy, dz is proportional to psi star dx, dy, dz. The sentence is repeating, so don't bother about it. So you learned it and you know it. One feature of the Schrodinger equation is that if psi is a solution, then so are C1 psi, C2 psi, etc. Or psi is multiplied by the constant C1 and C2, where C1 and C2 are the constants. So for example, if we consider psi is the Schrodinger equation or acceptable solution, then multiplied with constant C1, C2, etc. are also be acceptable. Okay, so thus for a given Schrodinger equation, there is an infinite set of wave functions differing from each other by mere numerical factors. Okay, so we can multiply it with the numerical factors or the constants, that the wave functions can be considered acceptable. Okay, so we need to know which particular wave function is such that psi star dx, dy, dz is equal to the probability that the electron is present in the volume element of dimensions dx, dy, dz. Okay, so in the next slide we will understand it more clearly. Since there is a unit probability of finding the electron, okay, so it is very clear that the electron can be found around the nucleus. So there should be particular distance from the nucleus where the electron is present, or the electron density is there, or the probability of meeting the electron is there. Okay, so that is what it says. The unit probability of finding the electron somewhere in the space, the integral of the probability density over all space must be unity. Okay, so as you know, the small space means it was because of the coordinates dx, dy and dz. Here you can see that at probability of meeting the electron here, psi star is a probability density or the electron density. We can say integral minus infinity to plus infinity over all the space dx, dy, dz. Okay, so minus infinity to plus infinity, minus infinity to plus infinity for dx, minus infinity to plus infinity for dy, minus infinity to plus infinity for dz. Okay, so this is equal to 1. That means this indicates that the probability of meeting the electron, so there is a unit probability to meet the electrons around the space of a nucleus. Okay, and the above may be written as, so this can be written as, this is in the lengthy form, we don't need to write it, so rather we can reduce this form, this as in the form integral psi star d tau. So this integral itself means that all space. Okay, psi star d tau means dx, dy, dz equal to 1. So there is a definitely we can meet an electron at a particular point around the nucleus. Okay, so where d tau is d equal to dx, dy and dz. This is known as the normalization condition, and the wave function satisfying the above condition is said to be normalized. Okay, and in certain cases, however, a wave function is not normalized. It is possible to normalize it by multiplying it by a constant known as the normalization constant. In certain cases, the wave function, if it is not normalized, we need to make it normalized by multiplying certain constants. Not all constants we cannot multiply, but certain mathematical constants we can give. So that is what is called the normalization constant, so that the probability density is equal to psi star d tau equal to 1. And this process of adjusting a wave function, now we can see that psi star integral psi star d tau equal to 1 is the normalized function, and this function, if it is not normalized, we can make it normalized by multiply with a constant. And this process of adjusting a wave function to satisfy the normalization condition is also called normalization, and the resulting wave function is called normalized wave function. Now we have two terms. One is orthogonality term. Orthogonality term is nothing but if psi r and psi s represents the wave function, which are two separate solutions of Schrodinger wave equation. So if we represent Schrodinger wave equation with different wave functions like psi r and psi s, and the corresponding two values of the energy. So corresponding to psi r and psi s, we get two energy values Er and Es, and then we can write it as integral psi r psi s d tau equal to 0. So if we get two different energy values, means it is may not be accurate. Okay, so we can write it as integral psi r psi s d tau equal to 0. Okay, so that means there is no unit probability to meet the electron. There is something wrong with the finding the energy of the electron. And the wave function psi r and psi s are said to be orthogonal. The above is known as orthogonality condition. So that means we have two different wave functions for the Schrodinger equation, then definitely we will be having two different energies, and if that is there is no unit probability in that equation, we call it as an orthogonal condition. And now orthonormality condition. So here also we take two different wave functions psi r and psi s. The orthogonality condition is integral psi r psi s d tau equal to 0, and if the r equal to s, that means these two wave functions are same, r equal to s, then we get a normalized condition, that is a unit probability to meet the electron, integral psi r psi s d tau equal to 1, that means r equal to s. Okay, and we can combine the orthogonality and orthonormality normalization conditions to give an expression like integral psi r psi s d tau equal to delta rs. Okay, and this delta rs is what is called Kronecker delta. It is called Kronecker delta, and which has the value of 0 if r not equal to s. If r not equal to s, then it will be this value will be 0, and if r equal to s, then this is equal to 1. Okay, so the normalization function or orthonormality and orthogonality can be defined from this equation, integral psi r psi s d theta equal to delta rs, where r equal to s then is a orthonormal condition, and if r not equal to s, then we get an orthogonality condition. Okay, all that I am stopping here. In the next class we will discuss the postulates of quantum mechanics.